thermoplastic, whatever use.
Oh shit! So we're fucked again until we get to upgrade our.
They make there's a company that makes that's room brake compatible, and the best thing to do, like your little pump, are like because they produce there's a little piston in there, creates heat, and if you use TPU, the glue, the adhesive on that stem, will actually come. Yeah, because you're touch that if you ever pump up a tire with those little pumps. If you touch that valve,
really? Hot air.
That's that little piston going.
What about when you slam your wheel into a pothole?
Well, nothing's going to help you out there.
You know what? Everybody talks about this. I'm trying to think the last time I had a pinch flat.
I don't remember the last time I had a pinch flat, but
That's fair.
I have a pinch flat when it fucking matters.
Yeah.
Every time it matters, I get a pinch
Montana.
flat.
Yeah.
And Montana and Tour de Blue.
Oh, yeah.
Drink.
Yeah.
There you go.
I drink because Jackson dropped an F-bomb.
That's the only time I get pinch flat.
Because also like, I have been saved by the tubeless because like at the beginning of RC3, I looked down at my tires like, oozing. I'm like, oh fuck. Where'd I get a flat? And so it's like we're going to the line. Mm-hmm. Like I would have been screwed if I was getting a flat at that point. And I just literally rolled it over. It sealed, and I was good for the race.
But here's the strange thing. We all raced on that same, and most of us are running tubes. None of us got flats.
Yeah.
And I've been on a ride with you, now on RC3, and all these people, look, I had tubeless. Look at it ooze out. And I'm like, yeah, but I haven't got a flat yet. And you keep getting... Yeah. People are like, it's sealed up. How come I'm not getting a flat and I have tubes?
Because it only takes like a little bit, because once it punctures the tire, right? Like you're fucked. Whereas you still have the tube if you...
When they have to go to the bathroom, they ride through the field to a really secretive spot to go potty.
I always ride through the fields.
Yeah, never mind. I lost that one. Yeah. I was trying to be a smart ass, but it just didn't work out. Yeah. All right, time to play bikes. Hey everybody, this is a bad rhyme today. I was staring at a computer screen forever and it just didn't work out. When I wrote this out, see, my voice doesn't even want to do it. When I wrote this out, all were going to be here, likely due to the fact that I provide free beer. 2 weeks to the tour and a week of racing ahead. Summer is here. There's good news to spread. Yes, that sucked. Sorry about that.
It wasn't bad.
I didn't feel it. What?
I'm going to be there.
Oh, you fucker.
I know.
Welcome to episode 484 of the longest standing podcast in the sport of cycling. This is one of the only Packfiller Cycling Podcasts. We are like a post-ride beer with multiple friends and one asshole. I'm potentially that asshole. My name's Pat Bulger, and as I said at the time of writing, we are all present and accounted for. Let's see if that is indeed the case. If you were in the green room prior, which is what we do on our live stream, you can watch and hear the random banter and confessions of past ills and things like that. Tonight's Scratch Prologue, powered by Scratch Labs Fuel and Hydration, is as follows. Have you ever had a ghost experience? And can you provide a short description of said ghost experience? So, tonight, I'm starting off the introductions with one adjective. Well, no, just one word in your description that starts with the letter F. First of all, he's finally racing this week, Mr. Paul Main.
Thank you.
How are you, man?
All right.
How's the injury? People are stopping you on the street and asking about your injury.
Yeah. Well, one phone call.
Okay.
And then one guy on the street.
Was it your mom?
Nope. Neither one. Oh. I don't even know if she knows I got in a crash.
Mom probably doesn't need
and even if she does, well, she forgot.
No.
She forgot.
Dementia.
Paul, have you ever had a ghost experience?
Yeah. It's too long to say. Yeah. Yeah. It was
Is there a
bizarre.
Reader's Digest?
No, I want it. I want the full story.
We're gonna be like wrap up. After
I'm gonna do one that wasn't. I'm not gonna do mine. I'm gonna do one that when I was an electrician.
Okay.
And I'll make this really fast. So I was working on a house down in Teco, Washington, which is down south. And there was a big push back in before the housing crisis to refurbish, and a lot of federal funding to refurbish old buildings. There's an old theater that's like an Art Deco theater down there, and they're bringing it up to scale. It'd been abandoned forever. I went and worked on this historical house down there, and the other journeyman worked in the theater. I came back afterwards, picked him up, and he's like, "I'm not going back in there. I'm not going back in there." And I said, "Are you done?" "No, I'm not. I'm not going back." I go, "What's wrong with you?" He goes, "Because it was pitch dark and there had been no power, so he's trying to get it so they can fire up the."
Oh God, you don't think about that. You can't just turn on a nightlight.
Nope. So he had we didn't really have headlights back then. We had like meg lights and
torches,
clips. Yeah, we had little clips on our hat,
candles.
And he said he was working on the panel, and all of a sudden it felt like somebody's in there, and he kept turning around, couldn't feel see anything, and he starts working, and all of a sudden he said his feet felt like they were on fire, and he's like, "Well, that's strange." It was cold. It was like. Yeah. November.
He wasn't
no
getting
heat.
Shocked by the electricity.
And he's like, no, because there's no electricity there. Right. And so he goes, I looked over, I kept thinking there's somebody there, and like the hair on the back of his neck stood up, and he's like stone cold on his back. It was a different temperature, and his feet were on fire. And
wow.
He said, I started thinking about the only song I could think of was, Jesus loves me, this I know. So he said, I sang it for 3 hours, and I finally said, I'm out of here. I couldn't go.
Wow.
I laughed at him the whole way. The History Channel had like a list of historical buildings that are supposedly haunted.
Yeah.
And I'm like, skip, how you channel back in the day. You just channel surf. There's nothing on. And I came across this, and they had Tico Washington Theater, was listed as one of the haunted places. And I'm like, well, the guy wasn't screwed up. So
that was the short one.
That's short.
That's horrible.
Yeah.
Next off, he's going to be fashionably late for dinner on Thursday, Mr. Sam Waples.
Yes.
Why are you going to be?
I'm racing bees.
Why are you racing A's and B's?
Yes. Well, not really. Quote unquote air quotes on a podcast.
Why are you racing?
I'm figuring out this whole audio
that
podcast
people
thing.
can technically see you.
Oh, that's a good point.
Yeah. But most of the people cannot.
Yes.
Because they're probably driving.
I'm racing the A's, which is the grand finale.
Yep.
And then we have a friend who we've is on a 24 team, and we're trying to get into doing more, and he's interested, and we're like, dude, come out. And I asked them last week, they're like, yeah, you can race that. We're not worried about you actually trying to win it and race it.
Okay.
So I just want to go.
So you're just there for moral support.
Yeah, I just want to go. I kind of introduce him to it.
That's adorable.
Yeah.
Have you had a ghost? Oh, did I say your name? I said your name.
Yes.
Yeah, people know
you said fuckhead.
Okay. Yes, that's about right. Ghost experience.
I will say that I used to do a lot of house sitting. One of the houses was in the lower Rockwood area, which in Spokane is like old houses, early 1900s.
Yeah, one would describe it as like early old school mansions.
Yes,
just beautiful.
Exactly. Yeah, and this was exactly that huge stone mansion.
Oh yeah.
And they had servant quarters and servant hallways. It was, yes. So we slept in the basement of this place, and I will never forget. I'm like, you're already spooked. It's a creaky house. It's an old house, and you just never really feel like you're alone. And you hear the old dog kind of walking around randomly at times.
Now there was a dog.
There was a dog.
Okay.
But so you just never you're just kind of always on edge. What am I going to see? What am I going to hear when I walk around this corner? So I'm taking a shower, and I hear this. It's like a child's scream, blood curdling scream, and I'm instantly shut off the shower. And I'm like, it's the pipes. It's the pipes. See, it's gone. It's the pipes. It was the pipes. The pipes were old. And I'm just standing there. I'm afraid to turn the water back on. Finally, noise doesn't come back, and I'm just out of there as quickly as I can, run out of the house. And I'm just they asked for us to house sit again. This was not that long ago. Ken and I were married, and I was like, nope. Never going back.
Did you ask the owners?
Yeah, and
did they have
had multiple
children.
Well, it's a long story on that, but it definitely had a lot of history to that house. I think that supposedly that was one of the early doctors in the area worked there, and so they had this upstairs where they had a whole bunch of beds. Yeah. I don't know.
Did he have
back then?
Is this off of
for house
17th?
calls?
Yeah. Yes,
I know.
it is.
I know
yes,
what you're talking about.
Yes, yes, it's creepy. So like they would also do these like rituals. This couple, like these like spiritual weekends or whatever, and like it seemed culty. And so I was like, no, I don't know what you're calling into this house. I don't really want to believe in any ghosts or anything like that, but I'm not testing the waters here. And so, yeah.
Okay. I didn't think the introduction was going to be this successful.
Yeah, ghost stories are.
Oh,
long.
yeah.
Next, he is fervidly, because I got to use the word fervidly, focused on his quest for as many start lines as his years on the earth, Mr. David Wabels.
Yes. And I'm racing bees, just saying.
You're racing.
Oh, does that count as a second race? It does.
It doesn't. No, it doesn't. You can't count that.
He's
We're
going
not
to be on the
racing.
podium.
There's
We're
a
not at all
podium.
racing. No, we're not racing it.
That might count. It depends on how many I have at the end of the year.
31. I did 32.
Yeah, that one counts.
One shy. Oh, wait.
Yeah. Oh, my God. You're racing too? Are you guys both threes?
No, we're twos.
Well, how can you race?
Because they gave us the like nod of approval, like don't. Be
They're
a dick.
shepherd.
Well, you know why?
Yeah, that's
You know why? They're going to be 4 people.
Yeah, there'll be
Well,
more numbers. It'll be more fun for everybody.
and they were saying they're like, well, the whole point of the bees is like we're introducing more people to racing.
Shit.
No, that's absolutely.
Bullshit.
It
No.
used to be that way.
The
It used to be that way.
The bees are supposed to be the group that is, slowly wading into the waters of age and stuff like that.
No.
The bee group is supposed to be either up and coming or going downing.
Exactly. You just
Yeah.
But,
I agree.
it's not this intro to bike racing group. That's C's.
He's but the person that
Okay,
is
that's
coming in.
fair.
That's fair. If you've never ridden a bike before, you should start in the C's.
David,
But,
have you ever had a ghost experience? This pisses me off.
Yes, I have. The easy one to share quickly was I was asleep in my bedroom. It was the bedroom that my grandfather died in my parents' house.
Did he die in the bed?
No, he was in the chair. No. But
Okay.
I was like in that state where you're like falling asleep, and I heard our dog at the time like walking down the stairs from my parents' bedroom, and I heard it come down the stairs and down the hallway and stop in front of my room, and then just like I thought turn around and go back up the stairs. And in my head I was like, oh, it's just a dog, like whatever. And my girlfriend at the time was over spending the night, and she
heard it here first.
She was freaking out about it. I'm like, it's just a dog, like it's fine, and like I'm hearing the dog go back up the stairs, and I'm like, I'll go look. And I get up, I go up into my parents' bedroom, and I look, and the dog is fucking passed out cold. Like I had to shake it to wake it up, and I'm just like, well,
it's up here.
So something, walked down the hallway, stopped outside my door, and then walked back.
Were you in
upstairs.
bed with this young lady?
Even though
napping?
separate beds, obviously.
Oh,
Bunk beds, top, bottom, that kind of
okay.
thing.
Oh, yeah.
But maybe Grandpa was upset that you were defiling
He was of
his
traditional values,
place
yeah.
of rest. Yeah.
Oh,
Grandpa's a little upset.
Yeah, he
So he
was.
came downstairs, looked in the room, jingled his keys, walked back up. Way to go, Gramps. Next, he is our fastest finisher, Mr. Jackson Bolger. How are you, man?
Well, I appreciate that.
Yeah,
Good.
well, it's not a compliment. It's the truth.
yeah.
No,
Yeah.
thanks.
Yeah.
Been working on that.
When have you been spooked?
Well, here we go. So, this current house that we're all sitting in currently
Is haunted.
is haunted.
No, it's not.
My bedroom is haunted. My old bedroom is haunted.
I sleep in there all the time.
Yeah, well, you sleep.
That sounds horrible, but I
sleep
do
hard.
sleep in there.
Because so, are you ready? So listen to this. So,
Okay.
I was younger. This story spans years. I was younger, and I used to have an old iHome radio. And for those that don't know, iHome radio was like this speaker, and you could put your old iPod in the dock, and it would play the music. But sometimes what it would do was it had a radio mode, and if you clicked a certain thing, it would always hum, searching for a radio frequency. And for those of you that don't know, ghosts communicate through radio frequency. So here I was.
I think it's like 0.6 megahertz.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
I don't know.
I just made it up.
666.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I'm laying there one night, and I hear the like low humming, and I hear Jackson, and I'm like, oh, that was freaky. I'm not gonna go say anything.
It was in my head.
However, I heard it again. And so I go and wake my mom up, and I'm like, Mom, I'm hearing my name through my speaker. And she's like, no, you're not. Go to bed. And so I'm like, okay. My parents just don't love or care for me.
Yeah.
And so I go to bed. It doesn't happen again. Let's fast forward to the night of my wedding, or the night before my wedding.
This was recent.
This was very recent. So I was staying in this house because,
they couldn't.
Traditions,
it's
David.
traditions, yeah.
Traditions,
Well,
David.
the night before the wedding, you're not supposed to see the bride.
Grandpa was pissed, David.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You're not
see?
supposed to see the bride the day of the wedding.
Fuck that
Yada
up.
yada, all that stuff. So I was sleeping here, and the iHome has been long gone.
Yeah.
And I couldn't fall asleep. I was on my phone, and I knew I had to be up at a certain time, and I just couldn't fall asleep. I kept trying. I was on my phone, and I'm laying there with my eyes closed, and I hear, "Go to sleep," in that exact voice. And it scared the living shit out of me. And so I was just laying there like, okay, I'll try. I promise I'll try.
Yeah.
And let it...
You said that out loud?
Yes, sir, demon.
No, in my head I was thinking
Please
that.
let me live.
Yeah. I got to get married tomorrow. Don't kill me. But yeah, so
Wow.
those are my experiences.
No,
I have
don't need
way
that.
more,
I
but
don't need that.
that's when...
All I'm saying is, for various reasons, I am in a very happy marriage, but I sleep in that room quite often, and I hear nothing. Actually, what I do hear is kind of a frequency change. It's like me.
Out of nowhere, it's gonna be like
Jackson.
No, it does that. It does that in that room, and I'm like, what the fuck in the house is making
Oh,
this
it's probably
noise?
wiring, giving me,
Yeah.
terrible
You've just been poisoned
waves
for
over the
years.
years.
Yeah. I'm
Well,
just
I know.
slowly-
I wonder if you don't get it because you didn't have the connection to that room that I did.
And also,
know?
you have like a demon on your shoulder at all times. They don't want to talk to you anymore.
Yeah.
They're-
Yeah.
They don't want to drive me
He
farther
can't
down.
decipher
You're
demon
covered.
and real.
Yeah,
is what-
yeah. DIT, demon in training. Here's my F. I'm not as fat as I was last year.
Yay.
I'm a pound away. I'm a pound away from my goal weight.
Wow. Nice.
Yep. So if I didn't drink tonight, I'd probably be okay. Mm-hmm. Not gonna happen. I'm Pat Bulger, and I had my sister shout at me in an intersection once. My sister has passed. God, how long has it been? Shit.
I was what, 5 years old?
Yeah, so it's been a long while. And a couple of years after she passed, I was I pulled out of a gas station after obviously getting gas, and I was just kind of everything, you're getting ready and stuff like that. I didn't have my seatbelt on, and I heard this, "Put your seatbelt on." And I kind of looked around and what the fuck. And then I heard this screaming in my head, basically, "Put your seatbelt on!" And it was my sister's voice. And I went, "Fine." And I took my foot off the gas, and I'm not joking. A car blew through the red light right in front of me, and I missed it by 6 inches. My sister was screaming in my ear to put my seatbelt on. And that was my only ghost interaction. I work in theaters year round. Pretty much, and I've never had a ghost situation, anything like that. Ghosts don't like me. Mm-hmm. I am not their flavor.
Too many demons.
Yep.
Well, that takes the cake.
Oh, you can say Macbeth all you want then.
I can, and in fact, in college, I used to warm up my actors by screaming it on the stage.
Man,
because you don't say Macbeth in the theater. Gentlemen, how's our cycling lives now that we're 20 minutes into a show just based on our introductions?
We should rebrand the show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just Ghost Hunters.
Ghost Hunters.
Yeah.
I love that show. That was a great show.
It's still around.
Is it really? Those guys are hilarious. How's everybody doing? How was our cycling life last week? Sam's already given the eyebrows up, which means he's slowly fading into the abyss of I don't train anymore.
Yep, pretty much.
Yep.
Pretty much.
It's like you've known.
Well, I had also like a stomach bug that wrecked me last week. Yeah.
Please spare us the story of your diarrhea.
Yeah, it was bad. So anyway, not much.
Another hamburger?
No.
Just this once.
Yeah.
By the way, I make brilliant smash burgers now that I have a Blackstone.
Ooh.
So I'm just saying, I could bring you back to the dark side.
Yeah?
Very well could.
Can you do that with an Impossible Burger?
You can't.
Fuck no. Out of principle.
No,
It's not touching my Blackstone.
my Blackstone would scream like the little pipes in your Rockwood house.
It was pipes.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It was pipes.
How's everybody doing? Paul, how's your cycling life been?
I rode with you.
Sundays. Yeah, we got a good ride in on Saturday.
I rode with Jack on Sunday. Came into town. Did he contact any of you guys?
Nope.
He did me.
He reached out
He did.
about, but I can't ride Monday through.
Yeah, but
Friday.
did he ask for a battery charger for his? Okay,
Oh no.
Yeah, Jack.
that's how our ride went.
apparently his last.
We go up
his
Thorpe
last
and he
charge
goes, "I
was in
can't
January.
shift gears anymore." Jack, when was the last time you charged
Yeah.
it? He didn't say anything. He just kind of went, "Oh." So yeah,
Did he have any,
Sucks.
like, or is he now on a single speed?
he was stuck. Yeah, he was on his. What is it? I think he has a 48. Maybe it's a 50-21. So I just matched his gears. We cut the ride short because he had to be back, and we spun.
Oh.
We spun.
Wow.
That's why I titled my Strava.
Yeah, I saw
I had
that.
a spin with Jack, and I mean spin.
Spin.
Mhm.
Oh my God. Jackson, how's your cycling life?
Yeah, last week was my 1 week off before I start my summer camp program. So I
Yeah,
took
yeah.
a lot. I did a lot last week. I rode Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Sunday, and then yesterday.
Wow.
And broke a 30-second power record.
I saw
I
that.
did.
Yeah.
And I broke that 30-second power record, went for another sprint, and I was cooked after all of the week's progress. So I'm just going to take it easy until we have to race. Because I'm
Smart.
feeling really good, but I don't want to have to show up to a race not feeling perfect, you know?
Yeah.
So, yeah, but feeling good.
David.
Good. I mean, I only got to do the Wednesday night mountain bike race last week. That was the only ride I really had time for. We were
Oh,
traveling this
shit.
weekend. But
Not
I mean,
good.
Did you win, or the 8th grader did?
well, once again, he was there.
Oh,
He did not start. He waved at me at the start line. I was like,
Do you think all the threats
Oh,
we're
it's
making on the
psychological at
podcast-
this point. He's like, I'm still here.
I know, and I just wish he was there because I've been feeling so
You're
good.
like, line up next to me.
Line up. But this last week, I think I won by 2 minutes this time instead of just a minute and a half. So
David
like,
had changed out of his
Wow.
kit at that point,
Yeah.
before the second place guy rolled across.
Playing
Yeah.
with the ghost theme, you think the kid really exists, or do you think this is just like a sixth sense thing? that
well,
you
at
just
this
see
point,
ghosts.
he's
This kid died 20 years ago.
at Riverside. Yeah, I mean, at this point, he's not racing. He's just in my head at the start line. So that could
I
be
think he got grounded or something like that.
some
grounded.
bigger races or something he's been training for.
yeah.
So, anyways, that was fine. This week's gonna be great. Rode yesterday. We're riding tomorrow at the Wednesday night, then Thursday night, and then we got the
I'm gonna get to that.
bar.
Yeah,
So-
I'm gonna get to that. I had a good week. It wasn't bad at all. I raced. I rode with my wife on Monday. We did a mountain bike ride. I rode on Wednesday and Thursday. Another mountain bike ride with my wife. She's really liking it.
Mm-hmm.
You know how hard it is to load an e-bike onto any type of a rack?
They
Yeah.
make ramps for that.
They do.
Jesus,
Yeah.
H, tap dancing. Christ, they're heavy.
Yep.
But it's been good. Rode with Paul, and then I got a good gravel ride in yesterday. I did
40 something.
Yeah, 40 something yesterday. Felt really good. I'm ready.
Oh, fucked.
We're ready. That time of the year that things strangely start to get thin in terms of actual opportunities to pin a number on. At least a few more bullets in the proverbial gun. There are rumors, by the way, that a gravel event is going to be planned in October by the one and only Gino Lasecki.
The Godfather.
Yeah, exactly. But this week's marks the end of two of our area race series. Jackson, you're sitting second overall, right?
Maybe. I'm probably third.
What?
Third. But by like a very achievable margin.
Yeah.
We're
I just
all
gotta beat
racing.
one guy.
We're
I'm
all
gonna look
racing
right
on
now.
Thursday, correct?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, the first place guy I don't even think has to show up to this race.
Is he showing up?
I don't know.
Saw that he was
won
taking
it
a trip.
already.
Oh, so you're telling me this?
It really opens
Yeah.
So that a dream situation would be,
If
dub.
he doesn't come, then it's all but mine to lose. If it comes down to a certain outcome,
Okay.
if it comes down to a certain outcome,
Yeah,
mind
yeah,
you,
yeah.
if you guys are going away, like, it is what it is. But yes,
Okay.
so
I'm taking Paul's advice and I'm riding out to the race to properly warm up because
There it is.
that's my problem.
Yeah.
That's the only problem.
That's it.
Is that I just am not warming up properly.
That and your congestion.
What?
That and your congestion. Yeah. If you could breathe
I think
through
I'm
your
allergic
nose.
to one of you assholes because everything's been going
It's
great.
me.
It's
It's my bullshit.
it's-
Yeah.
I really hope I can hold on. That's my goal. Hold on, be a part of something, and then go out afterwards.
Well, you got Jack and I for company.
This is true.
Jack's going to be there.
Yeah,
Huh?
yeah.
I was so excited for that.
As long as his batteries are charged for his derailleurs.
We might have the biggest squad out there.
Roger's gonna be there.
Oh God, I'm sure he will be.
Yeah.
Want to drink to that?
Yeah,
Yep. Well,
Guys, that's 7 dudes.
yeah. That's a lot. That's the biggest Arrivee's been in 15 years.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That's cool.
This week also marks the end of the mountain bike race series. David, are you leading?
I believe so. Yes.
By a
unless they-
large margin.
Oh, your brother unofficially won 2 of those races.
Did he? Is that how you would phrase that? He unofficially won them.
Unofficially.
He officially
I
did
think
not.
I officially did, actually.
Officially did, but unofficially did not.
I think that's the way to say
To go
it.
back to the kid, this just nameless kid, is he in the room with us now? And if not, are you going to try and sabotage him in some way, shape, or form?
He's nowhere near you in points, though.
Yeah,
Or he
I mean,
wouldn't be.
I don't think like similarly. I don't know if I'd have to actually go.
Wow.
Because
You only lost 2.
Yeah, I only lost 2. So
Well,
Wow.
plus the 2 that you lost to me. So you have lost 4.
no, that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, you do.
Forgot about that. So, I've been thinking a lot about what you guys said.
Yeah.
All those mean things about running him into the dirt.
Yeah.
Yep, still not going to do it.
Wow.
Yeah. Still not gonna do it.
Yep, still not going to.
What kind
you
of-
might change your mind when there's probably about a kilometer to go and you're neck and neck.
I will
neck,
change
yeah.
my tactics, and I will try to beat him with
stick?
pushing him
Oh.
into the dirt. Yeah.
And he looks at you like there's a Safe Light ad these days where a dad accidentally breaks a car window and his little kid's next to him. And when that kid looks to you and gives the same thing that this kid in the ad goes, he'll look at you and go, oh. And you'll just go, that's it. You're dead. You're dead. Only reason why you would lose is because you needed time to bury the body.
Okay, well. So,
What's the best part is
Asterisk, we're kidding.
Yeah, of course. But like the best part about all of this is that we're like shit talking an 8th grader.
Yeah.
Like the talent ahead of this kid
Oh,
is
Jesus,
going to be
yeah.
awesome to watch.
David's flying.
Yes.
Flying.
Yep.
And this kid's smoking him.
Yeah, I mean that's a junior. Like that's like a proper junior. They're just so fast. It's
Yeah.
cool.
That's cool. That is very cool.
I feel like smoking's a little aggressive. Okay,
Okay.
it was closer than that.
He beat me on the line.
It was just at the line.
Just a little bit. Hey, man. You're the first or last. Three of us also have a little challenge in the form of the BWR Montana this upcoming weekend. There are indeed podiums, Paul, so it's a fucking race.
It is. What prizes?
Yep.
From what I have found, and correct me if I'm wrong, 115 miles.
11.
111 miles. Okay, that's good news. Around 9,000 feet of climbing?
That already sucks.
9,000 feet of climbing?
Yeah.
Okay.
Eight, high 8s. Yeah.
High 8s. Okay. So, cool.
9.
Great.
Yeah.
So, no, let's go. Let's
go
take
just
the plus.
a little
It's not
bit.
115.
Yeah.
It's
So
111.
that's 3 times up Mount Spokane.
Yeah. Piece of cake. How ready are each of us for this?
Not
By
at
the way,
all.
the 3 riders are the 2 Waples and myself.
I feel as ready as I can be. I mean, I did not feel this good going into Leavenworth, which was 90 miles and like 11,000 feet. And I mean, I showed up there and did pretty good. I don't know. I mean, my legs feel good. Like every time I go out, they feel good. So we'll see. I don't know where it came from. I don't know how long it's going to last, but hopefully it lasts through the weekend.
Sounds like a boudoir quote.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Honey, I don't know where it came from. I don't know how long it's going to last. Let's go.
I would like to say the nerves around like the jokes that you're making of like that I'm gonna start out hot and then you're gonna catch me. I was like in your wildest fantasy.
Yeah.
It's kind of feeling more real. I'm like,
I'm going to pull her an A on you.
oh,
Yeah.
Are you?
I will
heels as you
will
go by.
stick a pump in your tire as you go by.
Are
I'm
you-
not above that.
Yeah.
actually switching your entire gearing and everything before this race?
No.
Okay,
I
because I
bought
was
all
like,
that, but-
come on, man.
yeah.
Like, what? This is... he's like going 1 by, like doing all this crazy
Guys, I
stuff.
went-
I'm a 1 by.
Yeah.
I did change from a 42 to a 40 front
I have a
gearing.
46 in the front now.
What?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I have a
I
46
went
in the
down.
front, and I have an 1150 or 1050 in the back.
50.
50. It has a bigger gear range. Guys, I got so into this. It has a bigger gear range for both my
That's
fastest.
negative gear ratio. What are you guys climbing a tree?
Yeah.
Could be.
Jesus.
After 112 miles.
That is a
or 11,
That is a 0.92 gear range.
Well,
That's ridiculous.
at the end of
That's not even walking speed.
at the end of
Slower than walking.
at the end of BWR San Diego, you do like 120 miles.
I thought you were wrong that it was 130 miles, and you're right.
I know.
You
It's
were
because
right.
it's my longest ride because I'm never doing that shit again.
It's dumb.
But at the end of that ride, they're like, "Oh, you've done over like 120 miles. Let's give you 25%." And so it's like
Yeah,
gears
they do.
like
They
that.
throw you on
I
a
do
massive
not
climb.
blame you for
They
that.
do throw you on a massive
I'm
climb.
so afraid of this.
On my ride yesterday, I was on a 42 front chain ring. No, I was originally on it, but yesterday I was on a 40 front chain ring, and I was on some road sections doing 26, 27 miles an hour and holding the gear just fine. I wasn't spinning, and I'm like, this is good. I don't need anything more than this. If I'm going that fast and I'm going to spin it out, fuck it. I'm going that fast. I mean, I don't need to worry about it because most of the time I'm not spinning out. I keep thinking that, road sections. You got to be able to have more gears for road sections. It's bullshit.
And there's not that many. Like, there's a point where you just tuck
and a 40-10
and have
is
whatever
fine gear.
jabroni you're with pull you.
Yeah. I think I'm ready. I think it's a fueling choice. I rode yesterday for the first time with my Usui hydration pack. I saved it for a ride. I wasn't with you, Paul.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
And it stayed solid. It didn't move. And
Nipple chafing?
none, because
Good.
it goes. It's like X-Men.
Isn't
It
that
goes
nice?
across
Cool
your
clip
chest.
in the front.
Yeah,
of it,
right in the middle. And I actually I think I drank more.
Do you guys think that the hydration pack's the way to go?
I think that the Rule 28 kit is the way to go. Have you seen that? Guys, I'm so deep into this game
Do you
now.
have it?
No, but I'm going to
fine.
buy it. It's what Dylan Johnson's running, and it has a pocket for the bladder.
Oh,
I think
So you
Rafa
don't-
makes one now too.
Yeah.
yeah.
Everybody's getting on
Lachlan
board.
Morton did one for a while.
Yeah.
I think. Yeah.
Yeah.
But Rule 28 was like the first of the scene with it, and then they, everybody's starting to do it with like
Losing Paul. We're
putting the
losing.
hydration pack just straight in your back.
I'm going to ride with it because after David speaking with you in the last show, you talked about putting just like that light balance, like that little bit of a sodium in that, and I'm going to do that for water. And then Paul's going to get beers because he doesn't give a flying fuck about any of this. And then in the bottles, I'm going to do my massive scratch and carb and stuff like that. So, and then maybe I won't even need food, but I will. I'm going to take Untapped and Untapped.
For the
and
love
Scratch
of
in
God, eat.
I will.
Right? I'm like, no,
know.
for the love of God, don't eat. That makes my plan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I'm taking, but those bottles, if you put enough carb mix and stuff like
Yes.
that in
Yeah,
them,
you
you're
should
getting
just do
500
that.
calories a bottle.
Totally.
You should
Just
also
do that.
eat.
Shut up.
Because
No, you should just
let's
do that.
flash back to a time a couple of weeks ago
up,
when we saw Paul Main's skeleton.
Yes.
He hadn't eaten anything that day.
But I was there, and I was running off of, carbs from Christmas.
Christmas
Yeah.
ham and beer.
I still got this middle rift that is working just fine. It's like a weight
Backup
belt
fuel.
full of food.
Yeah. Oh, my God.
What are you guys hoping for?
Survival would be really good.
Yeah.
I think that honestly, what I'm really looking for, this is a low bar, it seems like, and it seems to feed us, but is having fun. I really hope that I finish that, just thinking like that was really hard. I'm exhausted, but that was fun.
So when I did Grand Fondo Leavenworth, it was the first time I finished one of these gravel events that's like 100 miles with 10,000 feet.
Yeah.
And actually felt good afterwards instead of just like absolute garbage. I think that had to do with fueling, and it made it so much more fun. Ultimately, like, I want to finish. I don't really care where we finish. I mean, it's not a target race. I'm sure there's people there that I could never dream of beating. And so I just want to finish having felt good the entire time, no bonk, and a reasonable time.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, and that's exactly it. Because I think that my other experience with Fondos is like beginning of the season is training.
Yeah.
And it's a hell race, right? And then last year at Walla Walla Grit, they could have gone better. I just like didn't plan well for it or anything, and so I cracked there too. So I think most gravel races for me have ended poorly, so it'd be really good to finish a race and be like, this is enjoyable.
Okay.
Yeah.
And be ahead of you.
There we go. There it is. I'm in this zone. I mean, the 75-mile one I did, 2 weeks ago now, was good. I was tired at the end. I probably didn't feel properly. But I still had juice at the end. I was still going fine. And, in fact, I wanted to sprint, but there was a fucking Tesla in the way. So, that's a story all unto itself. But, I think urine comes out of this stainless steel. Well, hopefully for him, it did. But and I felt good. So this one, that was only 75, though. This is, you got to add quite a big chunk onto that. So we'll see how it goes.
Lot.
What's the longest race you've ever done? Jackson's probably the 130, you said.
Yeah, but is that was that treating that as a race? Not really.
It was a race, Jackson. There was a podium.
So then 131.
Sam, what's the longest race you've ever
What
done?
was Chico? Remember that road race that you crashed in?
Paul and I
Yeah.
are both thinking.
Was it
and
like
the
110
man.
I
or
gotta go way
something?
back.
Maybe
Chico and the man
110.
is what I
Yeah, it was at least
Chico.
100, but it's 100 to 110, somewhere in there.
110. David, that's you?
116, I believe, but it was a Grand Fonda with a podium.
Okay.
But we had
Still
a
race?
25-mile-an-hour average, so.
Whoa.
What was that one?
Oh, was that Chase?
Yetterman. You guys remember that
Oh,
one?
yeah.
I mean, it's pretty flat, so, and there was a good group of guys, but it was
Rolling
fast.
Farms.
Oh, okay. Paul, what's your longest race?
I think it was a 90 plus.
Okay.
I don't enter anything over 80.
Mine was
typically.
definitely BWR in California. That 130. That was long. Leadville's just 100, quote unquote, but it was worse.
That's like 150
Yeah.
on a mountain bike.
And the elevation just kicks you in the teeth. It took me. I did get in under 12 hours. I do want that to be known.
See,
I've got the belt buckle.
I think time is the thing that is more indicative here, because that 12 hours, 12 hours, 100
11.
miles. I mean, 11
It was
hours.
11. Because if you
Sorry.
finish under 12, you get the buckle. If you finish over 12,
that 11 hours
you
and
get
59
dick.
minutes,
Yeah.
that was
Pretty fucking close, actually. Yeah.
that's a way more impressive effort than 100 miles, right? Like that's insane.
Why is it, Paul, that people like you and me, after we've been doing it for so long, end up with the ability to maintain endurance, but don't have the ability to maintain speed? It sucks ass.
Age.
I mean, but is it just muscle memory that we're able to maintain this endurance?
Our doctor could probably explain that.
Yeah, I mean, a big part of it's going to be that.
Physiological adaptation.
Yeah, and then the transition of your type 1 to type 2 muscle fibers. Remember those like fast twitch versus slow twitch?
Sure.
You're going to have more slow twitch as you age, less fast twitch fibers, and overall you're just going to do better with endurance, and so people tend to do more endurance.
Wow, those guys must be weird. What do you guys... Okay, Paul has a plan for EPO. And not when I say EPO, I mean Everett Performance Omnium. It's a race here in Washington in early July. So when we say EPO, it's not like Paul's like, the syringes are coming and I'm going to juice.
We've got alternative discussion regarding juicing later. So.
How's your prep coming for it?
Well, I'm trying to. Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of limited. Like I said, after that crash, it felt like a major setback, and I don't know why. Well, we went past the crash site, and I did see parts of my soul still embedded in there.
What do you mean you don't know why it felt like
another
a
ghost
setback?
experience?
God, I mean, I've crashed so many times, 3 times the speed, tumbled.
But
Did
you
you
ever
do
break
that at
ribs
62 years old?
No, that's the thing.
or break
That's just
ribs,
gonna
or
take-
you know, like
Yeah, it's hard. I mean, it is. I still have problems when I start pushing the breathing. I could feel it. So
yeah.
it's
Okay.
not painful, but it's there.
For our friend Ryan, who has been on the podcast
Yes.
before.
Yes, he has. Yeah.
Yep. Ryan
And
Spitty.
race director of
EPO.
yes, which is July.
who
11th,
is-
12th and 13th.
12th, 13th. Who's attending?
I'm
Paul put his hand
registered.
there. Sam is registered. David, that's 2 crits.
I know. I've been thinking about it a lot. It depends on whether or not Sam's going, which probably depends on whether or not I'm going.
Yeah.
I could be talked into it. Is all I'm saying.
Jack says he's going.
Jack says he's going if his batteries are charged.
Yeah, if he has his batteries charged.
Jackson and I are not attending, unfortunately. We are both going to be on a pre-planned vacation.
Birthday.
And it is my birthday weekend.
Yes, this was planned in January.
Yep. We are not attending, so...
What?
Sounds like an excuse.
Was there a ghost?
Wow, that was scary.
So quiet.
A 7-month excuse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. No, we are. You would rock. You would have a good. You would do well. No, I mean, it's not like Jax is making an excuse because he's terrified of what he used to be as opposed to who he is now, and is living this entire life.
Oh
that
my
is
gosh.
constantly- Anyway,
I didn't mean to do this.
And a different crit course on Sunday.
is there? Yeah.
Eight corner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
8?
8 corner crit. See?
Now you got it.
All right, let's shift gears and check our top headlines in the sport with a little help from our friends at our new sponsor alert, MAP. MAAP Cycling Apparel. Stay tuned for some fun specials. I can't talk anymore. The jingle's over.
Well, I'm interested to hear what you have to say.
Specials and hopeful discounts we will be throwing our way from MAP.
Wow.
Yeah.
Love.
Clothier.
I always thought it was pronounced mop.
I did too, but I looked it up. And
Map
everybody's been
sounds
saying
more
MAP.
right.
Second A is silent.
Yeah. It's from Melbourne, Australia.
Oh, yeah, that makes
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah, there we go.
Melbourne.
Melbourne.
Mm-hmm.
Did I say Melbourne?
Mm-hmm.
Melbourne. Spokane. Washington.
Melbourne.
After the recent Criterium du Dauphiné, things are looking like a continuance of at least the favorites of glory in France starting next weekend. Team Visma Lisa Bike has released their full tour roster, along with other teams, in hope to topple the dominance of the UAE and Tadej Pogacar. The list, at least on paper, and I don't know if you guys are going to agree or not, looks like support for Jonas Vingegaard is solid, while the UAE also looks at it as just about anyone on the team could be on the line for the podium, including recent Giro winner Adam Yates. Gentlemen, so taking a look at the initial names that you have in front of you, are there any things that stick out to you in terms of names? Obviously the big three are there, but do you see anybody that could potentially be a fly in the ointment from your experience of watching the races earlier this year?
Quick correction. Adam Yates didn't win the Giro.
Did I say Adam? Oh, I said Adam.
Simon.
I meant Simon. Sorry. Oops, shit.
Yeah.
Well, I'll take that out in
That's right.
post.
Yeah.
I don't edit this show, so I'm saying
But
it now.
we are human. We make mistakes.
We are. Yeah, and they look
And
the
they're
same.
twins.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
can't tell. You put them both in the same room. You're like, which one won the Giro? Adam's going, me.
Yeah. See?
Adam. Adam.
Man, I'm
Bad
looking
Yates.
at this, and it's like there are so many top hitters that are going to be there. It is so freaking stacked. Like, look at the team that Trek is bringing. Like, Trek is bringing a phenomenal team. And I mean, not that they don't have phenomenal riders. I'm just saying in the past, like, they've brought, like a few guys and they try to do, a couple of stage wins. But, like, all of the teams are bringing all of their best guys.
Yeah, we can probably agree, looking at Lidl Trek, that they're probably centered towards a
Stage.
Jonathan Milan in
Oh, yeah.
green and then
Absolutely.
stage hunting.
Yep.
Theo Gegenhardt will be interesting to see where he's at.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Obviously, the big three there are there. You look at who's backing them up. When I first saw that press release of Visma Lisa Bike, Jonas Vingegaard, Wout van Aert, Simon Yates, Matteo Jorgensen, Eduardo Affini, Tish Benoot, Sepp Kuss, and Victor Campenaerts, and you're like going, oh my God, that is a dream team. That is absolutely unbelievable what they're putting together. And then you scroll up and you look at what UAE is bringing to the table. Tadej, João Almeida, Adam Yates, Pavel Sivakov, Mark Soler, Tim Wellens, Jonathan Navarez, Domin Novak, and Niels Pollitt.
I mean, you really think about it, and I love playing the game of who's going to throw the wrench, the wrench in there.
Yeah.
But is there really going to be a wrench? You know what I mean? I think it's going to be the battle between Tadej and Jonas, and then Remco's right behind. I think we are facing a healthier version this year of the Tour than we've faced in years past, which is exciting. I think the sprint jersey is going to be a really interesting battle, but I don't know. I think that the yellow is going to be an interesting battle within the three, but I think we know who's going to be fighting for it.
Yeah, I do. I agree with you. I think it is going to be
Dauphiné was almost. I wished it wouldn't have happened.
Yeah.
It took a little bit of.
But they didn't have like this full squad there.
Yeah.
You know, and so like that's the thing is they do have so many other guys that they can like, you know, send up the road and stuff that UAE is going to have to be just absolutely on it the whole time. Yeah. And I think they're capable of that, but I do think like it's going to come between Tadej and Jonas, and then it's going to come between Primoz and Remco. Like those are the two tiers of it, right? Like, you know, fighting between first and second and third and fourth. But like, yeah, everybody is bringing their best, and so that's what's like so freaking cool about this is that there will be a lot of different dynamic through the Tour, because last year Jonas was not at his best. The year before that, Tadej was not at his best. Yeah. You know, so it's been a couple of years since we've seen like, you know, and then even before that, those Team Visma and UAE were just like so far above the rest for the 2 years before that it wasn't even a fair fight, right? Yeah. So it's been years since we've had like this big of a field that's all could do different things.
I really wish there was less attraction to an 8th place in the Tour de France than there was, because you get into this situation where teams are so hyper-focused on pleasing the sponsors to the extent of a top 10 finish that after a certain amount, the race just kind of nullifies itself. Where you could get, you know, the Richard Carapaz of the world and riders like the Primoz Roglic of the world and things like that, and go, let's just open this bitch up. Let's see what we can do. Let's, you know, I'd rather go down on my shield than be happy with hey, our sponsor's happy with an 8th overall.
That's the Tour, and that's why the Giro typically is a more exciting Grand Tour, because everybody fights for number 1 and 2. You only remember the winner, and sponsors are not really, they don't care if you get 5th.
Yeah.
You know, first at the Giro does mean something, you know. But I think that in the Tour, that's some of the drawback is you see people fighting for keeping their 5th place.
Yeah.
When they could go and attack and they'd mix things up. But they're like, then I have a chance of losing my spot. And
because 12 guys attacking Tadej is better entertainment than 2 guys attacking Tadej.
Yeah.
So,
I thought Geraint Thomas was. I thought he was.
This is his last one.
Mm-hmm. I thought last year was this the last one.
It was the last one.
Very last, and he crashed out at Tour of Switzerland.
Yeah. He is in dire need of some high altitude intensity over the next couple weeks.
Well, he's in Cardiff. He's in Wales, yeah.
Okay.
Man.
He's recovering.
I am so excited to see him at the Tour. I've been a Geraint super fan since he was like a domestique for Bradley Wiggins. Like
now, when you say at the Tour, you're meaning physically. Just so people know you are physically going to be
physically
there.
At the Tour. I can't wait to see him.
You should take the flag and you should take a GoPro.
Yes.
You have been a fan since those glasses that he still wears were cool.
I know.
Yeah.
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 No offense.
It's true.
His glasses.
Do you wear glasses on the bike, Sam?
Yes.
Do you? Okay.
Yeah. But I used to wear those exact same jawbone ones that he always wore.
Yeah.
He doesn't wear those
David,
anymore.
you just did a slow, annoying with your brother blink there. It's like, fuck. was he stupid in them?
I just think that I really like Geraint Thomas as well, but I just think his glasses are from like 15 years ago.
But it is just like his style.
That was 15 years
committed to.
They're not the same glasses.
The current ones are sun clouds or sun gods or something like that.
They had to make a certain.
They did. They made a Geraint Thomas one that looks like those.
When I was on Twitter, there was an account called Geraint Thomas's glasses.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a thing.
It's great.
Good for him.
Okay, second story. What the is my title? World Tour veteran George Hincapie disclosed the foundation for USA's newest professional men's team, Modern Adventure Pro Cycling. Hincapie will serve as the team leader for management group, which includes former pro cyclists and industry leaders as they pursue registration of a UCI pro team for 2026. Hello. Modern Adventure, a travel company based in Portland, Oregon, received naming rights as the title sponsor of what was called a, quote, renaissance of American cycling, end quote. The length of the multi-year deal with Modern Adventure was not yet disclosed, but Hincapie said that along with founding sponsor Factor Bikes, official kit provider Hincapie Sportswear, a solid footing will move the team forward as a goal of, quote, racing the Tour de France in 5 years or less, end quote. According to the new team's website, other sponsors include SRAM as a key technology partner, Akoi for performance gear, including helmets, the Feed as nutritional partner, Finish Line as their bike carrier, yada, yada, yada. Okay. As well as support from Harder Mechanical Contractors and the podcast, The Move.
You had
Fuck
me.
my
You had
life.
me, and then
Get a better podcast.
I don't need to ask that question.
God, go away.
so what bike did they have? A bike
Factor.
So, first of all, are we forgetting here that technically both Lidl Trek and EFE's post are American teams? Renaissance of American cycling.
Yep.
I have a problem with that because they are both American registered teams. I get it. I mean, I get it. Maybe an all-American team. 7-Eleven kind of a ideal when the 7-Eleven first started out, but 7-Eleven became multinational as it grew. And I'm. I don't need to ask this. Am I the only one hoping that a certain person stays out of the spotlight? Note the
Do you
last
think
sponsor.
he can?
Yeah. Is he potentially able to do that?
No. He's already weaseling his way in. Like when you open up the Peacock app and you see his podcast, I'm like, why? Dude, go away.
I don't watch
Lance.
No.
Armstrong. Guy won technically unofficially 7 tours.
In a row.
Wait, what is he trying to weasel just into the?
He's
He's
part of
sponsor
this
this team
team
I'm mentioning.
Gotcha.
There
I
we go.
missed all that. Yes, for the people who don't pay attention to cycling.
But there are a lot of followers, believers, people who respect his opinions on the sport, and we go from there. And you got 3 solid names as directors: Alex Howes, Joey Roscoff, and Ty Magner, who are all former national champions themselves, former pros, and things like that, not to mention George himself. So I have a quiet bar right now. Why?
He's toxic for the sport.
Lance.
Yes.
We're just talking Lance. We're not talking George. George is a great guy.
He is a great guy.
In fact, George's brother, Rich, was my roommate at the Olympic Training Center and is a freaking great guy.
I'm not discrediting. I don't wish any ill will on Lance either.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying that all of them, I'm glad, but go away. Let's move on to the next chapter, right? It's just they've tainted the sport, and it's just bad stuff has come from that whole era. And I'm I don't think that there's a problem with it being them being coaches or something, but I just don't want them to rise up and be the face of American cycling again.
Well, I mean, are they just giving their money essentially, and then also they're going to get some promotion?
Depends
out of
on
it
who
and
you're
everything?
speaking of. I mean, are we speaking of the Move podcast? I guarantee that team will be featured regularly and consistently on the Move. And George himself. George is the big guy. He and Richie, his brother, are the guys putting this whole thing together.
So you guys are worried that they're going to get the spotlight and not this team?
Mm-hmm.
My concerns are, when I heard about this, I didn't know about the Move until just now. And I like everything about it because we need all the help we can.
Yeah.
The problem is that Lance Armstrong is very polar. There's not anybody that just doesn't have a opinion or a opinion.
Either love or hate him. Yeah.
Without a doubt. I personally think he, we've been down this road, but
Yeah.
I think the way he treated other people in the time of his success is absolutely disgusting. And that's the part I have a problem with. The drug thing, that's bad. But so was everybody else in that time period. You can go down that road. People I idolize like Jan Ulrich, All the winners. I'm sure.
Isn't that funny that that's the least of our problems? Is
Well,
is
and the thing is
mess. I mean, we've had dopers on this podcast within the last year.
Yeah.
Accused dopers.
Jack and I
confessed
had this
dopers.
discussion on our ride. It's like, we talked about me when I had that chance to go to France. I can't tell you, putting people paid money, everything. I was there, and then the only, hey, buddy, if you want to win, this is what you have to do. I can't tell you what I would say, and that sounds terrible, but I don't. I'd like to think that I'd take the high road. But the problem with that is that I was really excited until I heard that, because he's such a polarizing person that that's just a bummer. But
but what's worse, not having a new U.S. cycling team, which is kind of exciting, or just like it's kind of you're picking between not having a team and I guess having it associated with somebody you don't like. I mean, we have a new team. That's kind of exciting, right? Like, when was the last time the U.S. had a new cycling team?
Lidl Trek and Easy Post.
But it's been a long time.
Yeah.
And I think it's exciting. It just sucks. Yeah, it does suck, but maybe it wouldn't happen without them.
Spend their time doing grassroots stuff. Better spent.
Is it a UCI Pro Conti team?
Conti for now. Yeah.
Okay.
they're going to race in Europe,
Yeah.
as far as I understand.
Oh.
Not U.S. I guess some U.S. races maybe. But
I'm interested to see a couple of things. I'm interested to see what their success looks like if they race in. Obviously, they have to be invited in invited events. And then I'm also really interested to see if this becomes Legion 2.0.
Shit.
They eventually, not in like the terms of the polarized. Well, I guess you never know.
They were polarizing.
They were, yeah. But I just mean as like the domination.
Yeah.
In the U.S. and they find the success here, and then they kind of like capitalize on that, because that's what Legion is as well. They are also a pro Conti team. I don't know if they are anymore, mind you.
I think Roscoff. No, Ty Magner races for them.
Yeah. But I don't know. I'm just interested to see what this turns into. And I think 5 years might be a bit of a lofty goal. I think maybe 10 years could be a stronger thing, but when you're pitching to Factor, you got to say 5 years. You know?
Or you nab some big UCI points names. Quinn Simmons is not on the Tour de France roster for Lidl Trek.
Right.
Yeah.
Who knows if that would be a signing right out of the gates.
Yeah.
He had a great Tour de Suisse.
Yeah, he did and rode really well. I mean, there are some names like that you could immediately probably entice away. I mean, look at Tom Pidcock, went to Q36.5, gigantic boost for the team. So,
and 4 of us at this table raced against, was it last year?
Sam Boardman.
Yeah, Sam Boardman.
yeah.
I think
2 years ago.
Hey, I had a great weekend and I got third in the crit. I just want that to be stable.
I think
medal's right over Sam's shoulder if you're looking.
I'm really interested to see what they choose to do, because I think if you are, say, a Nielsen Palace, say a Quinn Simmons, do you want to make that possible leap from a World Tour team to a Pro Conti team?
Sepp Kuss.
But
How fucking unbelievable.
But what I'm saying is, what are the guarantees that you're getting from leaving that team and going to another? Sepp Kuss is
a cut and pay.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Cut and pay,
yeah.
cutting opportunities.
Yeah.
You're not riding the tour.
No.
On a Pro Conti team from the U.S.
Yeah. I mean, Nielsen Palace is like, high up EF. Brandon McNulty, high up UAE. Quinn Simmons is high up for Trek Lidl.
Yeah.
Like, it's...
what are the names that are going to get you to the tour?
Q36.5 is not
You're going to
on the
get
tour.
people coming down, kind of like MLS.
Exactly.
Well, and that, to me, that waters it down
Kind of like
a
the
little.
B-Pack.
Well, to
Or
me,
gravel.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
But to me, that waters it down a little bit for a term that comes to my mind. Shitifies it. Like, I think, is it just going to be a bunch of like twilight of their career riders coming down and being like, "Let me show you the way," and then riders that are on that cusp but just not good enough.
How many teams have lived off that formula? You look at the Israel Premier Techs. You look at some of those, Astana to an extent, but Astana is now bringing up young talent. Wanty Gobert. Yeah.
But they were
Intermarché. Yeah.
Intermarché. They were down below and came up.
Yeah.
So
You have a lot of those
But
teams
it
that
takes
grab.
a while.
I mean, let's be honest. Chris Froome, wait, he's still racing? He was a big grab by Israel Premier Tech because
His points.
UCI points, because, and that benefit.
And I think that's
that is a retirement team.
it is, but I think that's a great option if you weren't already in those races.
Sure. Okay.
Yeah.
That bumps him up, though. I don't know, so we'll see. We got to get to segments, but there is one story I wanted to touch base on really quick. But thanks to Paul, I'm not going to poop on my with my phone anymore. Founders of Peloton magazine have founded a new company as of March called Fausto Partners, launching this print-focused media brand, Fausto magazine. And I don't know if you guys have seen it. I was going to bring down the Tour de France official the official Tour de France preview and the official Tour de France guide. It's beautiful. It's a real print magazine. I brought it down, but I worried one of you fuckers was going to bend the pages over behind it and hold it like
Dog
that.
ears.
Yeah, and just fuck it
I
up.
thought you were going to say because you pooped on it.
I didn't poop on it.
And for you two, they have a section of when you're in Mont Ventoux restaurants and all these different.
Shut up!
places.
I'm buying it.
This is a great. I mean, now it's 6 issues a year. This is not an ad for anything. 6 issues a year. It's $10 an issue, so it's a $60 subscription a year. But I don't know if Paul and I are the only ones, but I miss holding a cycling magazine. Jackson, is this past your generation? Are you okay if it was just digital? Would you, or
I'm not super cool with like companies that require that or like really need that going out of business. The print.
Yeah.
But I do like the digital.
You
more.
do? Okay. See, yeah, I was assuming that there is a paradigm shift, to people being okay with digital magazines, and the print magazines are becoming the thing of the old generation. I don't know why. I love the Tour de France guide. It's going to sit on my glass coffee table for the entire month of of July, and then I can't wait for the magazines. I can't wait for them.
There's something decorative about them, though.
I
will
will
say
absolutely.
it's pretty that I do
Absolutely.
enjoy about them.
And
the newer magazines have become so photography heavy.
Yeah.
They're almost boutique style magazines.
Yeah.
It's like a coffee table book
Yeah.
almost.
And I have to say, digital. I was talking to your dad earlier about it. I've purchased quite a few books online, and I can't read them as long as I can a book because that light is always affect me.
Oh,
It tires me out very fast. And the other thing is when I put that magazine down, and unlike a book that I had, if I had it in a book form, I see that book and it's like, I haven't finished that, and I can pick it up. I forget about it on my iPad.
I do that too.
And
on
I have
digital.
tons of unfinished things on my iPad. But if it's in a book form or a magazine, I go through it, and it's there. It's tactile and a memory, and especially the cycling thing. I have it on my desk and I pick it up every once in a while and look. Oh, what stage?
Yeah.
Immediately because it triggers something.
So I need this guide because if I want to Google search the stage on the morning because I don't get up at 4 a.m. to watch it, and all of a sudden, everything I find on the Google search tells me everybody who's won, or Flow Bikes tells me who's won the moment I log in to watch the stage.
Thumbnail.
You motherfuckers. But, and so I just love having that. Okay, it's my little, like you're sitting down at a real sports game and you get the program and you're popcorn and your beer. In this case, in the morning, it's my,
Beer.
Coffee.
my coffee, my granola, yogurt,
Bailey's.
Come on, you're not. It's summer break for you. It's beer in the morning.
I wish it was, but I have an unwritten rule that is I cannot have any alcohol until 5 p.m.
It's good to have limits.
Yeah, it's always been my unwritten rule.
Sucks.
Wait, what?
I don't unless
Except
it's
if it's a
like
bike ride.
unless it's a bike ride or if
Okay,
it's
okay.
or if it's a
Or
special
if it
occasion or it's
ends in
lunch
a
or something
Y.
like that.
Yeah.
Or did it isn't why?
That's really Jones.
You know what? I set myself up for that one.
But one
That
more
was
cool
just too
thing about
shitty,
that
man.
magazine,
Yeah.
I think it's very old fashioned, but there's a section in there you write down the winner of the stage,
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
and
That is
that's
old-fashioned,
Cool.
yeah.
6 issues a year for $60. As again, we are not getting anything
and
from
it
that,
poo
but-
poos outside.
Yes. Yes. Yeah, fuck outside. They killed more magazines than I like to talk about. Those guys are assholes. Let's get to our segments tonight. Thanks to you, our listener. Our Patreon is up. That is not the podcast. Thanks to you, our listener. Patreon page is on the homepage. Thanks to many of you, where not only keep the lights on, but keep the beer flowing throughout the conversation. If you'd like to help support the show, be sure to check the Patreon. I realized listening back to the podcast, yes, I hate the sound of my own voice, especially when it's nasally like this. But I realized that sometimes when I read fast, I read really fast. And it's almost too fast to understand. So
I think you actually have a great voice for a podcast. You clearly have done this a lot.
I have a face for radio.
You do. I'll give you that.
And is it you reading too fast? Or are some people just not with it?
Well,
Yeah.
I might not be
Are
with
they
it because I
stupid?
was listening back going, what the hell
many
did I
How many
just
beers
say?
did you
How many
have?
beers?
None. I was driving.
Oh, well, that's the problem.
So two.
Okay.
No, that's the problem. This podcast requires a couple beers.
Yeah,
Oh,
see?
that's
Then
it.
it all
That's
makes
it.
sense.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Oh, we are on to we're starting out with changing times. Oh shit! I don't have the title. You're gonna have to tell me the title.
It was Know Yourself.
Know Yourself. Changing Times with Paul Main. This week's title is Know Yourself.
Yeah. There's
And
more
you
to
gave
come.
us this is like a Star Wars shit, man. We got like 4 shows,
That's right.
4 segments. This is part 1 of 4. This is
Yeah.
like what's the first Star Wars? The first real one.
Is it-
A New Hope?
A
This
New
is
Hope.
A New Hope. So okay. Anyway.
Episode 4.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. I'm ruining the
Yeah.
entire thing. I should shut up.
No, because it's not really that deep.
Oh fuck.
Oh no, I'm not that deep. No, what happened was that, I was thinking about this guy over here to my left, Dr. David,
Oh,
and he had his
Flattered.
best, was it 30-minute power output?
yeah, at the,
Right,
yeah,
yeah.
recently.
And then
Wow.
I started thinking back, the gravel race. Sam had his best. All these races, everybody has their best moment. So I started thinking about. And I'm going to ask you guys a question. Do you train when you train and do intervals and stuff? Do you use your FTP or all that for your intervals?
Mm-hmm.
Definitely.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Depends on
Yeah.
the time of year.
Mm-hmm.
In the summertime and outdoors, never. I never use it. I just go as hard as I can.
Do you think if you're braking in races and Grand Fondos, are you limiting yourself?
By the way,
to training?
everybody, he rolled his eyes when he said Grand Fondos. I just want that.
It was
to
hard
be
for me to
stated.
get it out.
Grand
I had to search my
Fondos.
brain. What is that stupid thing that people spend a lot of money on and get nothing, and there's no podium? Grand Fondos. So, do you think that I'm going to ask you guys because you train? Do you think since you're breaking all your marks, your 5-minute, your half hour, your 2-minute, blah 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 blah? Do you think training to your FTP or whatever your marks are is that really not? You're not really pushing yourself.
Have you been under training? Is what
Yeah.
you're basically
Yeah.
saying.
I was thinking about this last night because I've been feeling good and the power is higher than usual. I don't typically train to power. I try to go hard and I'm mindful of when I'm doing an interval, I'm mindful of this feels really difficult. It doesn't look like I'm actually putting out much power. I must be not doing very well in my fitness. Or last night I rode and I was going hard, feeling good, looking down at power. And I'm like, man, it is just flowing. This is a power that I can hold apparently for an hour or whatever. And it feels easy. I should go harder. So I use it kind of as a gauge. I was thinking that before I had a power meter, I don't think I knew when I was in shape like I am now, because I would go out and I would ride hard and I would feel good and I'd be tired afterwards, but I had nothing to show me that, man, you put out a lot of power compared to March or whatever. And so I use it in that way. I don't do intervals where I'm hold 350 for 3 minutes and then back off. So I don't know if that answers it, but
Yeah.
I think it's just my question is whether people are, because I don't. I'm not saying I got it right, but it made me start thinking. It's everybody, even when power first came out, a couple of guys going on that race, man, I broke. everybody's breaking their 5 minutes, 10 minutes. And I'm like, wait a minute. Then I started thinking about all these training programs that say, okay, then you need to be at 70% for this type of interval, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, well, in a race, if racing is your deal, you hardly anybody looks, and it doesn't matter. Most people don't look at their power meter. So that's why I say know yourself. And there's a sense of, like Jack and I were talking about when, of course, before power meters, you kind of develop a sense of, I can make that, I can bridge that. And I'm wondering if some of that is lost with, not saying it's a bad thing, because a lot of people are motivated with FTP or all this data information that, like I can make it if I maintain 360 watts. That'll take me. But if you think that's what it is, sometimes it's 375 watts or 375 for a little longer, and you can dip. There's too many variables to really be stuck on data, in my opinion. So
I can't ride with that. I have it all, but I stopped riding with it. I mean, I have it on a different screen on my Wahoo because I don't want to know my heart rate. I don't want to know my power. I just want to know the speed, distance, and time. But then I get home and I look at all that stuff. Because
I think they're great markers. They're great markers.
Yeah, I think that because I use it a ton in winter training, and I use it some in summer training if I'm going to do like a 3 minutes at this, because you're training certain systems, right? And so you're literally training those parts of the physiology to make you better at recovering after X amount of minutes at this. But I do agree, and I've talked to David a bit about this too. We're the generation where we didn't have that stuff, so we had to know, how your perceived effort is and all that. And I know, there's been a race, I think it was maybe this year or last year that I was riding with Jackson, and he's like, we worried about that? And I'm like, nah, I could close that. I'm just I know I could get to that gap, or because, I do know that. And I'm not going to think, oh, that'll take 450 watts to get there. I'm going to think oh, that's still within it. I could achieve that. I'm going to be blown by the time I get there. But I'll watch power like what David did last week, of where it's you're looking down, you're like, I can sustain this, and you can keep going. Yeah. That's a valuable thing, especially when you're in a move what David was in, where he's solo, right?
Or you're trying to bridge, and you're like, I'm putting out 400 watts. I don't think I can do this. I think it can be a disservice in that scenario. Or if you're trying to make a move, and you're like, man, this really hurts to be doing this amount of power, and I feel like I need to do more to get away. You can actually cut yourself short. Yeah. So I do think a lot of times it can make you sell yourself short, but in a move it can also.
I think you're 100% right. That you should I would encourage any new rider to start with none of that.
Yeah.
We used to go on a scale of 1 to 10. A 7 was time trial pace.
Yeah.
And they just, can I hold this? Yeah. Yeah. Stuff like that. Yeah. Jackson, I remember when we rode BWR California, there was a guy we were riding beside, and he says, I'm looking at my monitor this whole time, and I'm going to keep it at blankety blank watts. And I remember leaning over to you going, I have to beat that guy. Whatever happens, I have to beat that guy. I have no idea.
I hope so.
Yeah. I think, I guess how I feel about the whole thing is I am the way of when it comes to racing, it doesn't really matter anymore. I'll even, I don't know if I consciously look at the computer ever. When things are going on. But Sam, like you said, I am also a big believer of a winter training program. And the way I view it is, I use a teaching term here. The ZPD, or your zone of proximal development, is something that we talk about a lot.
Whoa!
And it is essentially, you're teaching within what you think your students can achieve, but you're also challenging them. You're pushing them right to that edge where you think they can do it, but they will have a challenge with it. And then as they grow, that ZPD grows with them, and they can achieve higher things. And I think that the more you are, I think that the more you are training within your, for lack of a better term, zone of proximal development, I think the better that it can get. And I think that's what training programs do, is they put you within that zone where they think you can achieve it, but it will be hard. And that's what the positive aspect of retesting does is in the wintertime, you probably after a training program raise that, and then you are capable of more. And I think that's what happened to me this year is I train, and I retested, and now my when I go indoors this summer or this winter, it will be harder than it was last winter. And I can recognize that.
Yeah.
But I do believe in them because I this year am a product of something like that, and it was really positive because of it.
Maybe private school's worth paying for. Just send your kids here. That's some really smart sounding shit,
right?
Well, just to wrap
We're doing
up,
that for teaching kids.
Yeah. I'm a teacher.
Science.
It's a science. I'm a teacher at a private school.
you want to take that back, Sam?
There's a happy middle ground.
Anyway, for me, just to wrap up, to me, it's like, my focus is racing, and there's so many variables that all that data, and in a race like Jackson, I can't imagine there is people that are, I can't make that break because I'm at 365 and I can only do, unfortunately, they're missing the whole part. And there's so many variables. Indoor training, I think, power, all that data, it's vital to keep you on top because it's so easy to kind of drift away and just spin at zone 1 and 2.
Yeah,
so
it'd be interesting to talk to somebody like Roger on this, where he's with triathlon and where it is a sustained maximal effort where you've got to hold that, whatever that is, and if he's staring at a watt number or not. That'd be interesting to hear from him on that one. So, all right,
you're looking at me.
It's time for Ask Dr. David. Who did it? Who did the video recently about heat training?
That was Jeff from NorCal Cycling.
Mm-hmm. I saw it. I started watching it last night and with my wife, and she went, "What the fuck is this guy doing in a painter's suit?" Yeah. and I agree with my wife. She was very much correct on that one.
Did you finish the video?
No, because it just grossed me out. It was just too much sweat.
When you open it up.
It was disgusting.
Yeah.
It was revolting. I found it offensive.
The results are pretty impressive.
Are they? Yeah. So talking about this heat training ideal of in this case, people are, no ventilation in the room, putting on a literal painting kind of sweatsuit and training your body to sustain these high heat moments. Most of us used to just do it by going outside when it was hot, but what's the concept behind it, and what are your thoughts?
It was a very interesting video. I watched it. I finally got interested in heat training after watching it because I thought to myself, you can't just say that you put on a suit and you adapt and you get faster. That's not enough. That's not enough.
He's an engineer, so he drew line charts and
but like these videos out there that show you like, oh, you do this and you watch they have these training zones and they watch your heart rate and it's very calculated and it fits the engineering mindset. But then there's the real aspect that like there are a lot of professionals doing this and having significant results. So why is that happening? I guess is the question I can answer for you. Like, why does this potentially work? And maybe also like, what are the potential pitfalls and risks? So when you are overheated, when you're riding in 100 degrees or with a Tyvek suit, take your pick, what's happening physiologically is you get a bunch of vasodilation. So the veins in your body in particular, more so than the arteries, are going to get bigger. And in doing so, they'll accommodate more volume. That volume has to come from somewhere. And so typically what's happening is fluid is being pulled from what's called the interstitial space, or the space between cells or within cells. It gets pulled into the veins, increasing your blood volume. So that's why you'll hear people talk about an effective increase in plasma volume. Well, all you're doing is shifting water. And how does that help you in the long run? What's actually happening is that you're diluting your own blood. So when you're training, I don't know, in that video, if anybody was paying attention, he was horrible at first. He couldn't handle it. Mm-hmm. His power numbers were terrible. His heart rate was through the roof. He could not deal with the heat. which is probably what happens to most of us in early summer when we go do a long race. But essentially, the body is going to pull water in, dilute the blood so that your effective hemoglobin, remember hemoglobin is like what we target with erythropoietin or EPO, is going down. So then as that blood moves through your kidneys, which is where the sensors for blood concentration are and the whole process for releasing natural EPO, it goes through your kidneys. You have diluted blood from the shift of volume into the veins. Your kidney is going to detect less hemoglobin, and it's going to ramp up natural EPO production. This is why they're calling it like poor man's altitude training, is because essentially what's happening is you're diluting your blood enough that your body thinks you don't have enough hemoglobin, and it's trying to produce more. So then after your workout, you recover, things go back to normal, and you're hydrating, you're recovering, and your body's producing more EPO. So your hemoglobin concentration will theoretically increase. We already know that increased hemoglobin concentration leads to better performance.
Yeah.
That's why we dope, or that's why they dope. That's not why we dope. I'm sorry, that was a slip.
Hey, dog.
That's why people
Don't tell
dope.
my secrets.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why people dope, is to increase their hemoglobin concentration. There's also some proposed mechanisms. There's these things called heat shock proteins, which are developed, your body produces to deal with heat and prevent the body from not functioning as well at higher temperatures. You produce more of those so that when you're out there in the heat, your body can deal with it better. There's all this talk about like sweating earlier and yada, yada, yada. To me, what I'm seeing is that the biggest thing for performance is that you're going to boost your natural EPO production, boost your hemoglobin concentration. And I think that's backed in physiology. The thing I would caution people on is that shift in intracellular to intravascular, so the fluid moving from the cells into the veins with heat, that fluid doesn't come out of nowhere. Mm-hmm. You have to be hydrated. You have to stay hydrated throughout this entire process. There's these protocols about like how quickly you warm up and how much you drink. It doesn't work if you're not staying hydrated, because you're gonna dehydrate yourself if you just get in a Tyvek suit and ride your bike, and it won't work. So I think there's good science there to help people kind of naturally boost their red blood cell count and their hemoglobin count. But it's tedious. So
Well, there you go.
yeah,
The newest cycling kits are going to be Tyvek.
apparently I mean
Training. They're
I'm not gonna
training.
lie,
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
interested. I
Yeah,
was interested.
And he
Day-glow
does it-
Tyvek.
And also he did it after a training ride, so he'd
He
do
would
his
warm
normal
up
training.
first, and
Yeah, but he would do like a, zone 2 ride, and then he would do that.
We just got a good segment out of him. What's his name again?
Jeff from Norco Cycling.
NorCal?
NorCal.
Okay. Yeah, so I want to give kudos to
Yeah,
for
Yeah.
It
going
was a
through
good.
it was a good video.
that. No effing way.
Mhm.
No effing way.
I don't want the cleanup.
You know what I just do? Train hungover.
Yeah. Oh.
There you go.
Yeah.
Dehydrated.
Pretty
Yeah.
much the same.
Yeah.
Pretty much the exact same thing.
Yeah.
Except the opposite of what Dave was just saying by staying hydrated, but that's okay.
You
Yeah.
might need
Well,
some,
you're suffering. You know,
Yeah, that's,
suffering leads to speed.
you might need some synthetic EPO.
you might just need synthetic.
Too late. Next up, Fit Tips with Bike Fit Sam. Brought to us by AmbassadorCycling.com.
That's me.
That's you. This one was as soon as I saw UCI with this ban. I immediately thought of you, and I'm like, Sam will have some input on that. A banning of specific bar widths, meaning these narrower bars. We had a lot of pros out there, obviously riding smaller and smaller bars. And I don't want to talk about either the pros or the cons of that, because that's with you. Good idea. What are smaller riders going to do, and things like that, and how can that inflict both groups when it comes to the large scheme of things?
Yeah. No, it's a very interesting thing. That's a very hot topic right now. And so I believe, just to state what it is a 40 centimeter minimum on the outside of, bar to bar, and it is 35 or 33 for inside.
Okay.
And that is just the most inside. So if you have your hoods rotated in, that is the most inside.
Bro.
Yeah, I know.
Bro.
Yeah, you cannot race road anymore, buddy. It wouldn't work for him. And that is because 40 centimeter wide, on the width outside to outside, that is like not that wide or not that narrow.
No.
Like 38 is not uncommon, especially in the like women's peloton.
Yeah.
You know, and even in the men's, but I'm just like really not uncommon. So like, okay, so now women have to put on wider handlebars. That's a bummer.
What does that do to their control of the bike?
Yeah. And so like, I don't think like the whole point is like UCI's statement is that it's going to give, you know, like make bikes safer, more stable, you know, because like the narrower bike, but like, have we really seen crashes from that?
I don't think so.
I don't think so. And so like, that's their whole point is safety. But I think that like, if you have, you know, improper fit, that's probably a more unsafe thing to do. But yeah, no, it's one of those things that there's actually a bike fit company in the UK that has a rebuttal into the UCI right now.
They do?
Yeah,
Okay.
because they're stating like many of their pro athletes that race in the World Tour and or just Conti over there, this like they'd have to go through and change all of their stuff because like their fit that is set up for them with their, you know, let's say shoulder impingements, Pat.
What?
Like they have to now go back through and do something entirely different just because of this UCI rule. I think like that's crazy. The Super Tuck was weird in the puppy paws. Okay, I get it, safety, but also like, man, that doesn't make sense to me. To not be able to like have your handlebars rotated in, right? And like some riders are just narrower than others.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
We always used to measure our actual shoulder blades.
Yep.
And then you would buy bars according to that.
Yeah, and nowadays it is trending to narrower, but still like I don't think that it's any more unstable.
I'm going to spin off. Do you remember Spinacci's?
Yeah.
Now, when they came out, yeah, they were
Yeah.
clip-on that came on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was quite a few crashes.
There were. But
And so that basically the narrower bars and turned in handlebars
are creating,
Yeah.
Like
Well, we're
someone
talking.
there,
There's more crashes. So how do we, you know, get the data on? Were they in their hoods or was it because if you grab your stem and grab your bars next to your stem and you try and steer technically at high speed, it's crazy. So I mean, you get more stability at high speeds with your arms a little bit farther out, but. These guys are professionals.
But that's why you have the drops.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know, the drops are
but
never, you're never going to see a drop that is
I'm not
underneath.
arguing for or against, but I think that's the logic behind it. And I bet you anything, there's going to be amendments, and whether it's measurement, they're going to, just like there was
a ratio
tall guys,
compared to your shoulder blades.
Yeah, because you think about on the
Before
TT
and
position,
Yep.
they had like, you know, Filippo Ganna was like all bunched up because he couldn't extend his out to be the right. So they made an amendment.
The saddle 4.5. Like, I
Mhm.
mean, I would fall underneath. Like when I raced nationals, like I had a thing that said like I was excused from the rule of like how far set back my saddle had to be because I was over 6 foot.
Wow.
You know, and so it's one of those things that
I'm sure they're going
to do something. You're probably right, but I think that it needs to be the drops. That would make sense to me. But the hoods, I don't know. This is like if you're in the drops, you have a more stable position available to you.
I blame Taco Vanderhorn for that.
he's
His is
all
like
over the
right
place,
there.
Guy passed me in the gravel race, the Chafe Gravel Fondo, on a gravel descent in the Super Tuck the other day. Scared the shit out of me.
Love that.
Blew by me.
That's ballsy.
love
like
that.
gravel road, just like 7-8% descent.
Did he survive?
Yeah.
We hope.
Did you see him at the finish?
I caught him
Oh.
later on, and he stopped at a food stop, and I was like, food's for pussies. So I kept going.
My God.
That makes sense.
Yeah. You should follow that same rule
Beat him.
this weekend.
Yeah.
Sam really doesn't want to get beat.
I don't
does.
wanna
God,
get
you know
beat.
how much joy that would
I
bring
don't want it to happen.
to the
I think I'm
Bolger
on
family name.
We don't want that to happen.
I think I'm on Team Pat this weekend.
Hey!
David's gonna be pacing me like slower.
We're all staying in a rental house, and I'm making big puttanesca. You guys know that, right? Saturday night.
God.
pumped.
Poop.
Yep.
Poop.
Like we're coming
Pasta
over Friday.
puttanesca.
I think you've had it.
Yeah, you made it here for
the
us.
angel hair pasta. And, it's good. It
does
does have
sardines or
anchovies.
anchovies.
Oh,
I should warn you that now.
very good.
You've had
Whatever.
it before.
Yeah, but it's like ground up into it.
Yeah, you don't even taste it. You don't know. It's just
It's just like having Caesar.
Goodness. Yeah.
Yeah.
There we go.
Puttanesca.
It's time for the cool down with
My
Jackson
favorite
Bulger.
part of the whole show.
Sponsored by Jackson Bulger because he's cool. Maybe we should make MAP your sponsor.
Yeah. Shit, if we can get a good kit deal on that.
There we go.
Imagine that. They'd get a pretty cool
There we go.
design on there. Anyways, so I was trying to figure out what to do today, and I'm over burnout. I got too much stuff going on in my life to really think about the word burnout. And so I got past that. And I think just having different interests is what hit me today. Because I notice as summer goes on and I get excited about different things. I mean, I've been training for this, block of April, May, June, since January. That's a long time. And so my not interests start to shift or focus start to shift, but my interests start to stray sometimes. I still love cycling, but I start to think about a little different things. Right now, I'm really getting into like camping. I'm consuming a lot of like camping content. I just think it's fun because I think the more that I flood myself with cycling content, the more I'm like, oh, shit, I'm kind of over it,
Really?
Yeah. So I gotta. It's like drinking, you can only do so much of it before
what?
you pass out, right? So you got to just pace yourself.
You what?
Your bachelor party.
I gotta
would
find
argue
that.
that.
Yeah.
So your bachelor party would argue different.
Yes, exactly. But anyways,
I'm laughing too hard at that.
Would have been better if you did pass out.
yeah,
Who?
Nobody.
yeah.
I
nobody
was
at this place.
fine.
I was totally tober.
Yeah.
Fuckers.
But do you guys notice as the seasons go on, and let me also say, I will be very much, getting excited now that races are ending for our group rides and for things like that. I think that's something I'm really looking forward to, a little less pressure. But do you guys notice that as time goes on, cycling season goes on, that your interests begin to wander like mine do a little bit? And if so, what do you start to get into as the time goes on?
Oh, wow.
Good question.
Let's start this way.
There's
Dad.
other things.
Yeah, Dad, what do you start
me.
with?
What I have done this year is I signed up for Breck Epic, and I can't.
Yeah.
In fact, my wife is, I think, mildly regretting the fact that she urged me to register for Breck Epic, because I think she's talking about like some vacations, like going, okay, without the bike, right? And I'm going, not with this hellhole happening in August. I need to keep going. And it really keeps me going. I'm not going to lie. But that being said, other things that I would shift to, there are other things.
And that's okay if there aren't.
No, I do a shit ton of tinkering down here. I do housework. I do yard work. I'm obsessed with my new Blackstone griddle and cooking on it because it's fun, and that kind of stuff. But
Yeah.
I don't really necessarily have another passion per se that I shift to.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I get what you mean. David, do you have anything?
I mean, I always have a list of things I want to do to the house, like major renovations that bring me joy. Lately, though, I'm like, I really want to get into sailing. Sam's
Holy
laughing
shit!
because this
He's
has
been talking about
I've
this.
been talking
for
about this since Hawaii, and I want to learn to sail.
Signed up for a sailing club.
Did you see the guy that sailed all the way from Oregon to Hawaii?
I have seen some of his
I
videos.
sailed
Yeah.
as a kid.
I've never sailed, and I
sailed a lot.
I really want to, and I actually talked to somebody about
Sailed,
it.
windsurfed,
I've
did all
never-
that shit.
Never windsurfed, but
Windsurf's fun.
I would love to sail. I talked to somebody about it. They're like, well, sailing's like a lot of work, and boating's not. And I was like, well, that's why I hate boating. You just sit on a boat and you motor along.
Yeah. Put
And-
on the Jimmy Buffett.
Yeah.
Fuck Jimmy Buffett.
I
Hey,
I hate Jimmy fucking Buffett. I hate him. I do. I know he's dead, but I fucking hate him.
I was gonna say.
no
I'm gonna
comment.
write a song about a cheeseburger. Fuck you. Anyway, sorry.
Well, anyways, that's like it's on my list this summer. I really want to learn to sail. I think Danielle and I would enjoy it. I'm intrigued by how active it is and how much work it requires to do. So that's something after race season calms down that Danielle and I are going to pursue.
I know a couple of people that could probably help you with that.
Yes, I need their names.
I will.
You can become one of those rich guys. You know, it's
Dude,
like-
sailboats are not expensive.
They
They're
do
like literally.
regatta. You probably get into regattas because there's.
Oh, he
races,
would
so-
100%.
They always
He
are
will be
looking for a
doing
crew,
race, yeah.
So.
Just start out in his little
Yeah.
sunfish,
Yeah.
Absolutely.
work his way up.
But no joke, used sailboat is like $1,000.
Yes.
Wow.
There's nobody wants them,
Yeah.
so not an expensive sport.
Talk about burnout.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Paul, I guess, is Paul next? Jackson, I didn't mean to hijack your segment.
We're going in the counterclockwise, right?
Yeah. I don't. In the earlier days, the last race was in October, and then I go like, well, shit. Now what? It was like it was called the Columbus Day Criterium at Seward Park in Seattle. But CP and I were big fans of bird hunting, in fact, pheasant hunting, and that was something that just like shift gears and stuff. We had dogs, and the hunting just got so bad, and my bird dog died that I just sold my shotgun and said, no, I'm done. It was not that interesting. It was great to go out with CP and cool down and watch your dogs do the work, and you just pop the bird out of the sky, and
Yeah.
Le Mans
so that
got
was
into
kinda-
that for a while. Oops.
I still I wish I could. Yeah, his is turkey hunting.
Yeah, okay.
So that's just dumb. But I kind of miss that, and it's something I grew up with, but not enough to get back into it, without a doubt. But I would say, if I look at fall, I really do look into fall festivals like, wine tasting. I know this sounds snobby, or beer festivals and that type of thing. And that's, pumping the brakes on the bike. But by November, I'm like, I got to get, it's 100%. So it's, nowadays it's August, September, October, and then November you start. But before we'd just have it like a month break.
Yeah.
So
Sam.
Couple things. I would just say that I was out on a ride with Jason Ostreicher, who you've interviewed
Great guy.
before. Great guy.
Yeah.
And he was talking about talking to another local cyclist that was saying how it's like, so what are you up to? And he's like, man, well, thankfully the season's winding down, so I'll be able to have a little bit more time. And Jason's like, what? Like it's June.
Okay,
He's like,
thank you, Jason.
And I couldn't agree more with Jason, because season at least like August was when, in September, October was cyclocross, because that's what we had at the time, and I did that for a couple seasons, and I'm like, Paul, and I'm like, fuck that. But anyway, I was like, I don't need to do this. I don't need to run with my bike.
No.
So, but I'm with him. Like, I personally think that the attention span, like, why are we starting ramp up and like, intensity stuff in like February right now to like you would maybe like, you'd have a good base, but then you would like, be just kind of hanging on to the guys that were like really ramped up in the beginning of the season. And then you get into full season at like June. July is crit season. August is continuation of crit season. So it's like me, I'm like, I don't lose my attention span for this right now. And the follow-up part to that is last year, somebody came up to David and I and was just like, well, we got to figure out next year what we're going to do to hang on to you guys, because you guys just come into the end of this, season ripping. And I'm like, no, we're just not in burnout by June.
Yeah.
Like, we're all still swinging because we're not overtrained. Like, I'm just not overtrained. So it's like, I think that for me personally, I don't really get to the point of being like, I can't wait to do something else, because I just don't, I pace myself the whole time. I hope that I'm still faster in August than I am right now.
You know what also just popped into my head is bike variety.
Yeah.
Is
definitely.
gravel, is road,
Absolute
is mountain.
mountain.
And
Yep.
like, sorry, Paul. Yeah. Paul is just knows. No, I'm really enjoying my mountain bike, and I gotta get fit, by the way.
Yes.
And it's just different.
Yep.
And gravel's different.
I agree.
It's almost like a different sport.
Yeah,
It is.
Yeah, and I think that's I
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
And I
I
think
thought David said that.
that's at the outset why I was saying burnout is not what I wanted to avoid, because I think that right now I'm not facing burnout. I'm just facing excitement for all aspects of life.
Yeah.
You know, I love
Balance.
Yes,
Balance.
exactly.
Yeah.
And right now, I know I say it all the time, and it's probably getting exhausting. But I go from work to training to school, and it's just all that in one. And so it's just, I don't know if I have time for burnout, but I was interested to see if anybody else got that excitement about other aspects. I was happy to hear about sailing. You know, that's exciting.
I will also say the reason I want to do it is because all the lakes are within biking distance, and in my head, you could bike to the boat and then sail. In my head, it's a different way to bike. That's one of the things I keep thinking of is you could bike there.
It is
Go
another,
for a sail.
Instead of mountain biking, gravel biking, road biking, it's sailing.
Bike to the sailboat and then bike.
And then
home.
you could sleep on. See, we're all
sleep
combining.
there and then come back.
Yes,
Yeah, exactly.
Okay,
And
we
that's two
all have an
rides.
interest there.
Yeah. See.
So we're all going to get on David's boat.
Yes. I'll get a bigger
We're all
one.
going to sleep
I'll
together.
get a bigger boat.
I'll get a bigger one. Yeah.
Can we call it a yacht?
I don't know what that.
If you were a
cutoff is, but
doctor,
sure.
technically with a yacht, would that be stereotypical?
Yeah. 100%. That's why I'm saying it.
You should get a yacht. It's fitting.
Yacht.
Yeah.
And your first child isn't going to be named this name, but you are going to secretly call her Muffy.
Oh, I don't know if I get the reference.
Muffy. Come on.
Come on.
Gilligan's Island.
No, that wasn't.
No,
Lovey was. What the fuck are you talking about? Jesus Christ! Stay in your lane.
Yeah, shift that.
That's not the millionaire
Shift that anger.
from Gilligan's.
Thurston Howell III
Yes.
and his wife Lovey.
Okay, same thing.
Lovey. But no, do you not listen to Yacht Rock Radio on Sirius XM?
No.
I love that channel. Okay, I'm gonna shut up. I don't. I had a Final K, but I don't know if it's too long because we've run so long. So you're gonna have to give a one sentence response to this one. What was the worst date you ever been on? Is our final question of the night. Worst date you've ever been on. David's going first.
We rode bikes on sidewalks.
Wow, that was a bad date.
On sidewalks.
Oh.
We rode road bikes in kits on sidewalks.
Gross.
Okay.
Fully kitted up.
That's bad.
Some girl asked me out and took me to the Ice Capades.
Oh, Sam.
All right, first girlfriend.
She must have thought I was
Just-
gay.
Just generally.
Just first girlfriend. Well, he had shaved legs. Jackson, worst date you've ever been on?
We went to an expensive restaurant. She ordered the tenderloin. I only had enough to eat meatloaf.
I was hoping
Meatloaf.
You
You
So-
only had enough money to eat.
I ate meatloaf. She ordered the tenderloin.
Oh, that's gold.
So he
no
immediately
tip.
scans the menu going, oh, fuck.
He's like doing math in his head. He's like,
On him for not sending you,
You have a
with
bowl
more
of
money.
rice?
Yeah.
Can I have a bowl of rice?
You could have called me and I get it. Well, it was probably before you had a
It
debit
was,
card or
yeah.
something.
So
Oh my
I ate meatloaf, no tip. I said, thank you very much. We got the hell out of there.
oh my God, that's gold.
Mine was I got a free screening to a movie called Mannequin.
Oh my god!
And this was a
Oh
first
my-
date with a girl, and I looked at her halfway through the movie and I said, I am leaving. Do you want to go? And she said, no, I'm enjoying the movie. I left.
Oh, good.
I never
That was
spoke to this woman again.
crappy.
I never spoke to her again. It was a terrible movie. I don't know how she got home.
Man, you should just like that's a
I
good idea.
seriously fucking left.
Take everybody to Mannequin for
Yeah.
a first
Who
date.
gave the
and you'll-
worst part of the date? Was it you or was it her? Because she didn't have a way
Oh,
to get
he
home.
gave the worst
She
part
looked
of
at
the
me and
date.
she said, I want to stay. And I said, okay, bye.
Okay.
He
I
offered
know.
a ride home.
Ride is leaving in 5
I think
minutes.
we were walking distance from campus at the time. It was back in college.
Yeah.
Oh my god!
Yeah.
All right, well.
I said, I can't
Did she
stand
have a
this
rape
movie.
whistle with her? Because
No.
you left her out to walk in the dark
It
after a
was,
stupid
it was
movie.
the early
Jeez,
90s.
you
Everything
ass
was
white.
safe.
Dahmer
Good
didn't
Lord.
exist.
Yeah.
No. Not in Spokane.
No, we had Fred Coe.
I'm not the bad guy. Maybe I am.
Yeah, that's terrible.
Be sure
You
to
let-
like
you
and
know.
subscribe to the show and our YouTube channel. Pop us a review every now and then. And be sure to check out our Patreon. Or maybe you don't want to because I'm apparently a terrible person.
That's bad.
Fine.
Yeah.
It's shit.